All right, happy fake Monday. And so hopefully everybody's week is starting well. You had a good weekend, and that your day is feeling less awkward than mine is today. I am all sorts of discombobulated. Let's jump into the agenda. First item, and this is just going to be a standing agenda item. We're going to go project by project on where the vulnerabilities are, and let's figure out what we're going to do with them. Time capped, another 7 minutes to discuss these things. We'll go through whatever we can and we'll continue on. So I'm going to share screen. All right, here we are. Go sec. I went ahead and threw in dismissed just to make sure that I wasn't being blind to something. There are 3 that are here. Let's go in criticality order. And I'm ignoring the unknown because that's been filed. This.
Can you go to where the source code is?
Go to where whose source code is.
I see. It's a dependency.
Yeah, this is dependency scanning.
Do we know what's bringing in or what's using X text?
Hold, please. Your call is important to us. All right, I'm going to put this in our agenda so that everybody can see it. Oh dear. Okay, this is going to be fun. Let's do it this way. Apologies. There.
So login? No.
It's coming in from net, which is xnet, which is being crypto.
Looks like it's logres or logs or us, right? Is that a graph, like a stack, what we're looking at, or is it just a snippet from the Go mod?
That's a snippet from GoMod graph, just grepping for /x as opposed to for text.
Oh, I gotcha. Cool. What are we using, crypto or net? It looks like both. I think we could be using net directly as well as crypto. Looks like it also uses net, right? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah. I'm seeing that too.
Okay.
It's interesting also that we're using two versions of Logos. I wonder if one of them has that vulnerability, and that's where it's coming from? Or
Yeah, so blame me. So we directly import Logrus. Okay, is it Logrus or is it Log R Us? Because I want it to be Toys R Us derivative name.
I have no idea.
Okay.
We can do log RS.
I don't care. To me, I've got Toys R Us kid theme song going through my head every time I see that particular dependency. Um, um, we include that dependency directly from the analyzers, and it's included within common. And so the fact that we have two different versions is the fact that it was updated in one, the analyzer, and it has not been updated in common. That's the reality. Which makes me a bit sad because I'm the one that introduced the updated version, and I saw the same thing. All right, Lucas has created an issue a week ago. Yeah. Right. Okay. So probably a dependency update in common and see if this takes care of it. Is that the intended outcome here?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It's seeing his. I glanced at his comment down there. It said that Pretty uses it as well, which is I think probably what LogsRS or Logrus uses for output.
For what it's
Okay.
worth, I think it is pronounced Logrus because the logo, they use a walrus emoji on the GitHub page.
Now you're letting facts get in the way of a good story.
Sorry.
It's kind of awkward right now because I have to say both every time I mention it. Because I have yet to commit to which camp I'm in, which makes me an enemy of both. Is that how that works? Kind of aggressive language. I'm sorry.
You're chaotic neutral. All right. Okay. Dependency update, and then we'll go from there. And this wouldn't shock me if this is an update to Logrus as a result to try and get the dependency taken care of or updated. Okay. I'm going to pause there because we're out of time. So, and that was our critical finding within this as well. So I'll make some notes on that particular issue and we'll see what happens. Okay.
All right, moving on. So we do have a secret detection bug. I wanted to get an understanding of the backstory to this. Was this just something we missed? I could have swore this worked because I have screenshots of my project with it. So like, it feels like maybe a regression. I'm trying to like figure out what went wrong here.
I think we missed it somehow because there is a secret scanning and secret detection. Previously, we are using secret scanning. We need to we need to change it to secret detection. That's why it was the bug. Yes, and we don't have integration test for that. That is why we missed it. So I looked into the MR. Let me see. Related to this, and I think we'll write the integration test for this.
So I think maybe what it was, I'm trying to think through like the order of operations here too, was that we had both of these scanners running. And I think maybe when we deleted the secret job from the SAS template, that's then when this got really noticed. So this, which is why I think we've gotten this far with this issue. Does that check out to y'all? Am I thinking through that correctly?
I'll vocalize what I just wrote. And this is me pulling memories out of my head. So in other words, my internal dialogue, oral tradition. When we introduced historic secret scanning, there was a problem with the comparison logic, whereas we were looking at just the commits that are within a merge request. And then if you had historic secret scanning, it looked like you had resolved thousands of problems. And as a result, we wanted to take secrets related findings out of the comparison logic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember, I didn't think that was going to manifest itself differently within the merge request widget itself. So that's where my memories end.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
I think it does. So we probably did have this right, and then we broke it unintentionally.
Possibly.
Okay, that feels more correct to me just because I swear this was working correctly.
But there is an inherent thing that we're going to have to satisfy if a project has had historic secrets job run against it. And now that if you're in the context of a pipeline, we're only scanning the commits that are within the merge request, how to reconcile that the historic ones is an edge case that has to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not trivial. I don't have a solution in mind.
Okay, yeah, I don't either. We can move on from this. I think that's helpful context for me. So the next one, based on some of the discussions we've had in previous meetings related to some of the interesting ideas we're considering about moving secret detection closer to the actual commit, I had a discussion with the source code team this morning about what would it look like if we were to extend push rules to support a limited set of regexes. Today, push rules work on regexes of file names, but they don't actually look at the content of the commits. So that's kind of what this issue is proposing. Take a look, add any thoughts you have. Of course, there's some concerns about what performance implications there would be. It does appear that push rules run within GitLab. So this is like an entirely different system we normally don't interact with. In general, I think this would be the source code team that would build this, but it's directly relevant to our secret detection work. So take a look at that. I think the long-term vision for this is if we end up going down this route, that we would support a limited number of highly controlled regexes that we would manage. I doubt we would be willing to open this up fully, just given the performance and the potential compute needed to do this. But yeah, take a look at that, add any comments, help me push that forward.
Would AnyLeaks be a good match for this, I wonder? Can you use that as a Git module, or a Go module, Zach?
You can, I mean, you can use it as like a library. So yeah, I mean, you could just kind of shim that into GitLab, and that should work. I mean, for what it's worth, I think this is similar to what GitHub is doing, where they have their own push rules and they have it finely tuned so that, you know, the regexes that they're using are not open to anyone. And I think they only have it with certain like SaaS, I mean, like AWS or Heroku or whatever. So yeah, you could use AnyLeaks. But again, this is kind of just like, you need to check the contents of objects being pushed up and prevent that if there is a secret detected. So, I mean, yeah, this is for sure something to look into. Should probably comment on this.
Do you have any sense of the performance of AnyLeaks? I feel like it's probably pretty performant, right?
I mean, it's as performant as you write the regular expressions. So
that's a really good point. That the regular expressions are probably a big trade-off for how fast this runs.
Yeah. Right.
I will say that the push rules system today does support basic regexes, but it's based on the file name. So they already do have some built-in capabilities for this. So the thought is that it may not be very difficult to expand the current regex system they've got to just actually look at the contents of the files as well. So yeah, put your thoughts in that issue. Be aware it is a public issue. We do have the confidential issues related to the things that we've talked about previously. So know we have 2 of them now. Any other thoughts, Thomas?
I'll put it on the issue. I've got strong opinions on this subject.
We've talked about this, yes.
Yeah,
I will let you go fight that with the engineers. I don't care how this gets implemented.
Right. The axiom that it, or position that is coming to mind, and I'll just state it here for the record since we were on recording, anything we can do to narrow our problem domain, I'm in favor of. Anything we do that that will expand or broaden our problem domain, is a hard argument to make for me, given how the velocity we're trying to move things forward. So I have a strong opinion about how this should work, but I can be knocked off that particular pedestal. It just takes a strong argument and response.
The only thing I would say is that this is a completely different approach than what we've got today. This doesn't require CI pipelines. This will flat out reject a commit if you try to commit files that have one of the forbidden regex patterns in it.
There are integration patterns within Git that could be brought to bear here. And I will stop there because we've got a full agenda. All right.
Okay, continuing on here, I just wanted to put these issues out there for y'all to be aware of. So we've now moved lots of things down to core. We had the aha moment about a week and a half ago that like the core experience is not really that great. You kind of have to know what you're looking for, even if the tools find vulnerabilities. So we want to improve that as soon as possible. So there's a few different things that we're considering to make that experience better. The first one is we're going to roll out an A/B test that lets anyone be aware that security scanning is something that we offer. So there's a current sort of landing page in the product that 50% of customers can see that just lets them know that we do security scanning. So that's going to roll out. That is a precursor for the second item, which is change our configuration page to basically give you a call to action about what you can and can't do on your given plan. So for SAST, you would be able to see that, the status of the jobs, and potentially be able to configure them with our minimal configurator tool rather than our full UI config. And then the others would be gated behind sort of a start a free trial. So take a look at that. If you have any comments or anything, this would be some of the first time that we'll actually put in product call to action upgrades in the product. So don't hesitate to put your thoughts and honest opinions on that issue. This kind of rolls into the third one, which is on the MR experience. We have currently today for Ultimate customers, you get the little colorized banner that tells you how many vulnerabilities, and then you get the diff widget. The proposal in number 3 basically is we should show everybody the colorized banner that tells you how many vulnerabilities were found, and then for core users, point you to download the artifacts from a pipeline. So that's kind of the current proposed experience. We also have put in a tiny call to action CTA, which is hidden behind a tooltip. I do not want that MR experience to feel spammy or to feel upgrade centric. It is purely about trying to help people realize there are vulnerabilities that they need to go and remediate, and that if they were to go and upgrade, there is a better experience for them. So again, put your thoughts, feedback on those issues. That's kind of my current thought in terms of how we improve the core experience. And I'll give you sort of just a general like positive thing is that we're seeing huge growth in SAST just because we're included in Auto DevOps now. So there's lots more jobs for us running. We want to show those customers the value of SAST And this is sort of a step along the way to make it more valuable for users and ideally incentivize a portion of them to actually upgrade to Ultimate.
So you say first call to action. Do you mean across the whole product in all teams or groups?
So I'm not going to claim to have seen every screen in GitLab, but in general, yes, it does look like this would be one of the first sort of actual inline product feature calls to action. The way we generally do feature upgrades is it's a landing page with an empty state that has like a tiny little upgrade message. This would be much more contextualized in terms of what the features actually do. And I think we're one of the first groups where we have a split experience where depending on your plan, you get different features, which is why we're kind of going down this route.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. With it being kind of a newer approach, and maybe you're already doing this, it seems like there might be some strong opinions, hopefully loosely held, across the company that could maybe bring some good perspective too. So might raise some of those thoughts sooner than later if you, maybe you have already. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been sharing this issue, and in general, people are very in favor of this change. I think we're approaching it with, we're trying to help customers be more secure, and we're already giving them a lot of free functionality. And this is both help them understand that functionality, use it, and trying to be very cautious about how we do an upgrade experience. But yeah, put any thoughts or concerns you have there.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm excited about it. I think it's probably a lot more user friendly. So that'll be great.
The other thing I'll say is that we'll implement this with some A/B testing capabilities, which will allow us to track revenue upgrades through this, which will tie us straight to revenue, which will be excellent and something that we have not done before. And generally, teams that can directly track revenue get more investment. So yeah, there's that.
So the only thing that we need to dig into whether we can use the APIs for core users to download the security reports. Looks like it's only meant for EE section. That means non-core users, the way the documentation is written. But when I looked into the code base, it looks like it can be used for both core and non-core users. But we need to figure out whether we can use that.
I'm not surprised to hear that. I think there's a lot of things that we have moved down to core that was previously an EE experience. And given our own experiences with moving things down, I'm not surprised that people missed moving things between certain areas of the project. It's one we can check the plans and make sure that we're not violating anything, but I don't believe we are.
Okay, thanks.
Thomas?
Yeah, sorry. All right. I was wordsmithing in my head as we go here. All right. Next item is confidential, so I'm going to obliquely reference it and kind of give everybody a heads up. This is something that has come to mine and other engineering managers' attention as of 2 hours ago. In that there are some reports that have been made available as, for scans made against containers that that we maintain. It's not by our tools, and it's mostly comparison like container scanning type of reports. This is something that I'm wrestling with right now. If people have opinions, I would certainly appreciate collaborating on this. There's more that I will share within Slack later, but just a heads up that this just came in. And so getting away from oblique and into something that I can do head on. So Jamf, hopefully everybody's heard about this before. And I know there's been an attempt to roll this out company-wide once already, and we're talking about it again. There's an early enrollment period that's going on right now. Should you be interested in being a part of a beta test, every bit of information that I have seen in about this within what's happening in GitLab and Engineering Manager's channel, everything else that I've seen is available here, including links to ethics about security, compliance, safeguards. What FAQ in the handbook is available for your review. So if you're interested and willing in being a part of this pilot program, please enroll. Otherwise, I would expect something like asset tracking software of some kind to become a reality for us in our near future. Somewhere there's Jamf or something else, and it's just if we're expecting a look, it's just a compliance thing when we get. So I'd expect it. So if you have questions, let's talk about it. It doesn't have to be here. It can be in a one-on-one if you'd like.
I am curious, do they have any idea of when it would go out of beta? Like when will it be a requirement? No.
I don't know. I know that this is a pilot program. I have not gone through all of the documentation that is available to us today because of the earlier oblique topic just took all of my attention the past few hours.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious
Yeah.
if we're like thinking it'll be another month or two before we would know that. You know, they didn't set a time.
Not that I have seen.
Okay, cool.
I checked the handbook.
Thank you.
As soon as I know more information, I'll share it. But since we're in a pilot program for something, I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of it and call it out. Alrighty, we're at time. Unless some folks want to vocalize real quick, I'll go ahead and wrap up the recording. All right, thanks everybody. Let me stop the recording.